Say, my name is MQ Swells, formerly Sergeant Swells of the Charlie Company 276 Engineer Battalion that was in Mosul Iraq in 2004. I'm actually just sharing a ghost story that I had from one of my experiences in Iraq. It's one of the few times I actually believe I ran into a ghost. You can believe me or not, but this is what I experienced. So anyways, it's these late December 2004. We're at Fob Morez, which was Camp Claiborne when the 101st is there. We come in after the 101st leaves, 2nd ID Strike Brigade comes in. We're attached to them. This is the Virginia National Guard unit that I was with. You know, normally our jobs, we do route clearance. I didn't go on some of these missions, but they had route clearance, EOD missions where we convoy security for EOD. We would actually go out below caches, go with the infantry, special forces, field artillery, whoever just needed someone when the EOD was busy. But anyways, my roommate, Specialist Mason, we were in the room just shooting the shit, just talking, just like we normally do. You know, sometimes it gets morbid when you're overseas, but we were talking about like, hey, if I wanted to go, what would be your way? What way would you go? And I was telling Mason, I was like, well, honestly, I think if it was my time to go, I'd rather it be quick. I don't want to bleed out. I don't want to be sitting there and everybody's just gathering around me. He's like, well, he's like, if it was me, he's like, I'd rather just be blown up. He's like, honestly, he's like, you know, that cord wrapped around me, C4 blown up, maybe a mortar or something. He's like, I don't know. But either way, he's like, I'd just rather, you know, be something like that, Belize Gory. And that was one thing that Nick always did. So anyways, he's going to be on guard duty. I'm the SOG, which for people who don't know, SOG is Sergeant of the Guard. So I would go out, check on the soldiers, bring them food, batteries for the radios or anything, or if they forgot something, or maybe you got to be relieved or whatever. I was in charge of making sure everybody in the towers were good. So as we're going out, I take the guys out. It's getting late. Probably when I'm saying, like, if anybody's ever worked third shift or overnight, you know how when it gets 2, 3 in the morning, you get really tired, and then you start, I guess, hallucinating. That's what I'm, taking it up for is that I'm hallucinating. Not sure if it really was, but it did scare the hell out of me. And when I tell you the end results, then you might believe me more. But anyhow, I'm coming out to the Humvee. At this time, we don't have up-armored vehicles. This is Iraq 2004, so there's no armor in these vehicles. So you literally just hope if something happens, it's quick, or at least you might be able to get out before anything bad happens to you. So I'm getting in the Humvee. It's about 2, 3 in the morning. I get in the Humvee, get ready to go check on the guys. I look over. There's a bloody version of me just sitting there looking at me, covered in blood. Doesn't say anything to me, and it just looks for a second. And I look. I'm thinking I'm tired, and it's like, how's it going? Nods his head and everything, just like I just did. Scared the shit out of me. I get out the Humvee, I kind of look around, rub my eyes. Maybe I'm just tripping. I don't know. But at the time, it really did scare me. I got back in the Humvee, drove to the towers, told a bunch of the guys, because me being a young E5, I was telling the guys about what I experienced, and they're like, well, hey, sorry, maybe you were tired. I don't know. I was like, I don't know. It just scared the shit out of me. But I had never been scared like that before. And you're talking about I had been shot at and I had been blown up before while we were in Iraq. Luckily, nothing's happened to me since, and I've done 4 tours in Iraq. So the rest of the shift goes well. Next day, doing things, getting trucks ready, getting gear for missions and everything like that. And back again on guard shift again. Get off. I go to sleep. My roommate Mason, he's in the room we sleep. One of the other guys, Specialist Ruin, he's the primary 50 cal gunner. He comes in like, hey, Mason, get your ass up, man. We're gonna go eat. And normally I ate with the guys, and he was like, Ruin looks at me, it's like, hey, motherfucker, you going to eat? I'm like, no, just because as I hear him talking, something in my head is like, hey, don't go. And it was weird because most of the time I get up and go eat with guys, and it was, didn't think anything about it. But, this day it was like, don't go. And I was like, this is weird. And I was like, no, I'm gonna sleep in. I'm not gonna go. I'm just gonna hang out. And the guys are like, I hear Mason getting dressed. He's running out the room, and Ruin's like, hey, motherfucker, you going? I'm like, no, I'm gonna stay in here. All right, man. We'll see you when you get back. See you when we get back. I'm not thinking anything about it. I'm like, all right, I go back to sleep. I think it's a few minutes, maybe an hour or two later, possibly longer. I'm not sure. I hear the door slam. Boom. And I'm like, the hell is it? It's like, I don't think that's, and I kind of hear crying. And what the fuck's going on? And there's another one of the guys in my unit. It's Crippin'. And I'm like, yo, Crip, what's going on, man? And he's crying. He's like, yo, man, they're fucking gone. I don't know what's going on. I'm like, what do you mean they're gone? Because I'm thinking, because I knew we were supposed to, since we go to missions, we'll go over across the street to Diamondback and go to the PX and buy energy drinks, sodas, whatever you guys want to get before missions. And I'm like, what do you mean they're gone? They left you? He's like, no. He said, they're fucking gone. I'm like, who? He's like, Mason, man, they're gone. He's like, a fucking rocket hit the Chaw. Now I'm waking up and looking at him like, what do you mean they're fucking gone? Because I'm still waking up, and he's like, no, you don't get it. He's like, I was walking up to the defect, and he said, the rocket hit the Chow. And I'm still trying to process. I was like, what? He said, yeah. He said, they're fucking gone. And I'm like, well, shit. I was like, oh, shit. So I'm like, finally waking up and realize what's going on. I come out of the room, and this is probably the saddest thing that I think I've ever seen. And mind you, we had been in country almost a year. And I've seen people get blown up. I've seen people get shot. I've severed limbs. Most of the things you can think of war, I've probably seen it. And you're talking about 20 years later, I'm still talking about this. But anyways, I come out, the whole battalion is just chaos. There's people running around, going across the gravel. I look over one of the other guys in my platoon. He's covered in blood, just sitting there, just shaking like, it's just blood. There's so much blood. And I'm like, what the hell is going on? My squad leader, the guy he's relatively calm, cool. He just walks over and shaking his head. He's like, Swells. Like, I don't know if you know, but Chow Hall got hit by a rocket or something. We're not sure yet. He said, we can't find Mason, we can't find Ruin. And I need you to go up to the Chow Hall and secure the sensitive items. And I'm like, okay. So I start, all right, so what are we looking for? He's like, just anything you can find that belongs to him, bring it back. Okay, I go into our TOC area, because each unit has their own like TOC area for the most part. Ours happen to be in our living area as well. So I go in to talk, and I'm seeing people on the radios and everything trying to just sensitive item checks, going around looking what's going on. I look on the wall, and this is when reality really hit me, is when I look on the wall and I see Mason and Ruin's names. I see Mason and Ruin's name. Mason is KIA. Ruin's name is just missing in action. I'm like, okay, shit. I'm like, Nick's dead. Oh, fuck. So I start walking up to the defect. And that's when I see some of the other guys. One of the guys, and this is a picture that you might see if you Googled Mosul child bombing. It was a guy smoking bloody hand, smoking a cigarette. He was one of the supply sergeants in one of our units. I knew him personally. And he's just like, hey, Swells, man, what's going on? He's like, you looking for the guys? I'm like, yeah. And he's like, Mason's dead, man. I was like, yeah, I kind of figured, and I seen the wall. And he's like, well, I was like, have you seen Ruin or any of the gear? And he's like, I don't know. People are just going everywhere. People flipping tables, doing everything. And I'm going around just talking to different people in the battalion. Mind you, our battalion was probably 400 strong. So majority of us knew each other since we were all National Guard for years. Kind of grew up together, knew each other. So I'm going around like, hey, has anybody seen Ruin? Has anybody seen Mason? And finally, one of the guys, I can't remember who it was, is like, hey, Swells, they took him over to the cache. And I was like, all right, which... For people who don't know what the cache is, that's the Casualty Support Hospital. That's where they take people when they get wounded, which is, luckily ours is across the street at Diamondback, which is where airplanes come in, bring supplies, bring soldiers. So I'm like, all right, so I don't have to go to the defect, but I'm just trying to make sure. But by the time I was thinking I didn't have to go, but I still go up there. But when I get up there, it's cordoned off. There's like the yellow tape, everything. They're like, you can't come in. There's no reason for you to be here. Stay the fuck back. These are people I've never seen before. And I'm like, okay. So I go back to my squad, let them know what's going on. Mind you, we still have a mission that night. So I'm sitting here like, I couldn't find anything. I don't know. And they're like, don't worry about it. We'll figure it out. All the leadership is sitting in the top. We're just sitting there because we got a mission. Usually before missions, our chaplain would come in and talk with us. But this time it's different. I can just feel it. So we're all there. Opportunity comes in. I went to basic training with him and everything, so I can, we've been together long enough. You can read people's emotions when you see something's wrong. And I look, and we can see his face, and he just gives us the news. He's like, I hate to tell you guys, he's like, you already know Special Mason died from the rocket. At the time, everybody thought it was a rocket attack. Later, we found out it was a suicide bomber. He said, but just to let you guys know, he was like, Specialist Ruin died of his wounds at the cache. Never in my life have I seen so many grown men crying and hugging each other. Even now, it still bothers me. Then I immediately start thinking about, what the fuck did I see last night when I was on guard shift? because that was a bloody version of me, and I normally ate with these guys every day, but I didn't go. So I was like, it could have been me. I could have died with these guys. And then sometimes I think maybe it was a guardian angel. I've heard some people say possibly a jinn. I don't know what it was, but I know still to this day, and you talking about this is 2004, and here it is almost 21 years later, and I still think about, like, why did I survive? Why did they have to go? But if I had went with them, I would have died. And this is something you guys can Google as far as the Mosul Chow Hall bombing. This happened in Mosul, Iraq, December 21st, 2004. For some of the old heads, GWAT veterans, some of you guys might have heard of this incident. I wasn't in the DFAC when this happened, but this is a place I normally ate, and just by the grace of God, that's all I want to take it as. I didn't go, but then once we got the word of Specialist Ruin dying from his wounds, the guys I had talked to on guard ship, they're snapping because they're like, Sergeant Swell saw a ghost last night and everything. It's bullshit, man. Why the fuck this? So there's just so much emotions going on. But honestly, that was my version of a ghost story. That was the one thing I seen that probably kept me alive, and I'm assuming got me home safely, because I've done 4 tours in Iraq, and that was just something I thought I'd share with everybody. Thank you.